Yes.
Great. Okay. Go ahead and take it away, Renee.
All right. Well, just really thank you to everyone for making time out of your extremely busy lives. We're really, really thankful and we don't take it for granted. Well, my name is Renee Molina, and I am born and raised in Los Angeles. And I am celebrating on Saturday 10 years anniversary with my wife. And in 2 weeks, we're having our firstborn boy. Yeah, so it's quite October. The Dodgers are on the game five, and so it's just it's that's a little bit about me. And my research really focuses a lot on the relationship between fair leadership and turnover, employee turnover. And my research, the way I kind of share it is I'm a mix between my research is a mix between Adam Grant and Martin Luther King Jr. And so kind of fuse both of their research and their work. Um, and that's a little bit about me. My wife, we've been together for over 10 years, and she's from inner city Los Angeles. So we're really LA people. But that's me in a nutshell. But I'd love to popcorn, see if uh, Jennifer.
You bet. So yeah, my name is Jennifer Sorensen, and I'm married. I've been married 11 years now, and I have a 2.5-year-old little girl, and that is a blast. She is so much fun. They grow so fast. They really do. And my background is more in organizational development and the how I've been kind of supporting Vanguard is teaching the organizational consulting class, which has been so much fun. It's just kind of been my first experience being an adjunct and being in academics. I always used to tell people I'm a practitioner, not an academic, and I guess I really can't totally say that anymore. So I'm going to have to find a new tagline. It's been so much fun working with the students. It's so that's just a little bit about me. I run my own consulting practice, so kind of have the experience being embedded doing it in many different companies and then doing it externally as well, which is a totally different dynamic, as many of you know. So, yeah, thanks.
We're at random. Anyone like to go next?
I'll go ahead. Hi, I'm Ellie. So great to meet you all. I am a career coach, but I also do some recruitment consulting. So a lot of my expertise falls within the talent acquisition space from both the recruiter perspective and the candidate perspective. And I am going to be teaching 521, which is going to be the org psych mentoring course, which is going to be a as full cycle of a course as I can create it for helping our students really launch into the workforce and identifying exactly what they want to be doing with their degree, what impact they want to create, who they want to serve, how they want to do it. That's going to be just step one. And then we're going to get into how we're going to portray that through the LinkedIn profile and the resume, how we're going to stand out in interviews, and so much more. And this is my first experience with instruction, so I'm really, truly so excited and so honored to be given this opportunity. And just like you, Jennifer, I never thought I would be in academics, but I am so blessed and excited to be here. So awesome to meet you all today, and thank you so much for having me.
Awesome, Ellie. Thank you so much.
I'll go ahead and jump in. I'm Christine. I taught talent management last spring, in the spring of this year, actually, not last anything. It feels like a long time ago because I am actually a newlywed. So I spent all of the summer getting married and planning that. So that was pretty crazy. So I taught talent management. I think we'll be doing something a little bit, it'll be called something very different, but something very similar in the fall, or sorry, in the summer of this next 2025. And same, I was not planning to be an academic in my career, but very, very thankful and blessed that I am, because these students are actually some of the brightest, really hardworking, and just wonderful kids to kind of work with. And I guess I shouldn't call them kids because they're adults, but they're really, really wonderful people. And I've had the honor to coach and mentor a few outside of the class, and they've been very receptive, and it's just been a blast. It's been really great.
All right, I'll go next. My name is Chopia. The end of my name is silent. I have a background in industrial organizational psychology. I've straddled being both an in-house consultant and external consultant. I tend to operate in the CEO, executive assessment, talent review space, also coaching people in support of their overall development. I most recently taught talent development and leadership development at Vanguard. So similar to Christine, the courses will be merging together, so it'll be a little bit different, but something in that similar space. I have a 7-month-old daughter, and in my free time, I like to hike and spend time with family and try out new restaurants and travel. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Chopia.
I can I can go next. I'm the guy that's been here a long time. So my name is Jeffrey Friedrich. I have been teaching at Vanguard for 25 years, so a long time. I have been teaching as an adjunct. I taught an undergrad program for most of the time, and then I started teaching in the master's program when the program launched. I am a chief people officer and work, so I'm a practitioner. This is a part-time gig, it's just more for fun than anything else. And I most recently taught the talent strategy course that just finished about a couple of weeks ago. But I enjoy the teaching because of the engagement of the students. Britt was one of my students, one of my star students, of course. And Becca, who is not there yet, I don't think, was a student of mine as well. So I have fond memories of the whole program, and I look forward to continuing to work with all of you. I'm married. I should say that. I'm married. I have a son that's probably older than some of you. He's 29. He has his PhD in history, and I have a daughter who is right now at UCLA.
Oh,
Well,
thank you
at
so
least
much.
you gave your professional background. I didn't even talk about what I do or my experience. So
It's
it's
okay.
fine.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
Ludmila.
My turn.
Yes, Ludmila.
Oops, sorry I was late. My previous thing ran over.
It
And
happens. It's okay.
so good to see everyone. And just happy to hear all the different stories. I am also an old timer. I've been at Vanguard for 18 years. I've been with this program since it was established in the early version in 2014. So I've been doing all kinds of interesting things, and my overall career has been in mostly in diversity. So I started in global diversity many, many, many years ago, probably before many of you were born. And then I decided to get a PhD in org psych because I was like, organizations are messed up and they're not doing diversity right. And we can only focus on one thing, and there's so many things about us. So it's been kind of a long pursuit. So I went from kind of working in a multinational organization, trying to make sense of why they would pay attention to one dimension of differences and not the other dimension of differences, to then just trying to solve it from multiple angles. So I have a PhD in org psych. I also have a HR certification, but I've been teaching overall for now like almost 30 years. That's kind of scary. But so I started teaching before I got my PhD. It was kind of, I did things in a strange order. But so I've been here for a long time. Yes, Brittany was my student, Becca was my student, and so yes, I've known Jeffrey for quite a while. It's really fun to see all the new faces as well. I've been talking to Renee for the last couple of years in various capacities and kind of excited to see how it's going to develop in this particular capacity. And let's see what else I do. I'm a writer. I just like when if I have spare time or even not spare time, I just try to write. And if I also have any more spare time, then I try to swim because that's like something that really works for my brain. So that would be a thing that I do for fun.
Wonderful, Ludmila. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love how you highlight it's there's no cookie cutter background, right? And so thank you so much, Ludmila, for sharing. And last but certainly not least, Britt.
Yes, hello everyone. Some of you I know, of course, and some I don't. So hello, my name is Britt Morano. As both Jeffrey and Ludmila mentioned, I am a product of Vanguard's graduate org psych program. I graduated with my master's in 2022, and then was immediately recruited to come and work for the program within Vanguard. It was really fun, super dynamic. I recently relocated to Wisconsin. I work at SC Johnson in leadership development. I'd say my background is in L&D and kind of learning construction, and then also now in leadership development. It's been super fun. I'm really enjoying my work here, and super excited to come back and be a part of this program in the capacity that I am. So really, really happy to be back. I am also a cat mom, Ellie. So I have a cat. And it's just us. It's just me and her against the world. And so yeah, so but super, super great to meet you all, and very, very excited to kind of see how we move forward. So looking forward to it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brittany.
Mhm.
All right. I think Becca might be joining us in a few, perhaps.
Yeah, she said she'll be coming a little bit late. So
Okay.
I think we can just proceed. And then when she jumps in at a good break point, we can go ahead and have her introduce herself and then keep going.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for just really being able to be present. And as Jeffrey said, I know for many of you, this is a almost like a passion project, and we really appreciate that. My background is a lot in the social sector, in the grassroots level, and I understand that. And so I appreciate you contributing to the good of society, right? That's what nonprofits do. That's what universities we're supposed to do. And so I really appreciate you just taking some time and to be able to see how we could better equip future leaders and future executives and future game changers in various organizations. And I am fascinated by, as Ludmila said, I'm also fascinated by organizations. I'm fascinated by functional organizations and dysfunctional organizations. And to me, it's just so wonderful to be able to create a community of organizational experts and organizational scholars from different flavors and different walks of life and different perspectives. And I think that's what makes Vanguard so special, is this sense of creating a table so that we could gather. And I think this is such a great concentrated expertise in organizations and leadership. And so maybe we could dive right in. We've prepared just a few items that we'd like to share with you all. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Can you all see that? All right, wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So just want to really say thank you. We really can't stress this enough. Thank you to even the previous director, Ben Wood. Thank you for his work. I've been in constant communication with him, and he's been very helpful in the transition. And as you all know, that transitions aren't linear, right? And so he's been very helpful in just being able to just support the transition. And so we're just really thankful to him. Thankful to many of you, right, that have been veterans in the program. Thank you for everything you've done. We've actually met with the students, with several students, and they're very thankful for you all as well. Like, so thankful. It's so wonderful the way they talk about you all, and they talk about you, and it's just, you guys are, these like legendary rock stars that they talk about, and we're just really thankful for everything that you've done. You poured in when you didn't have to, you poured in, and so we're just so thankful. We're also so thankful for Brittany and her great leadership and her dedication and her contribution to the program. That is incredible. As we've talking further and further with Brittany, we're really thankful also for Brittany. We're also just want to express my gratitude to the new dean of the business school, Tom Arnold, Dr. Tom Arnold. He's been so supportive. He's been really setting the tone a lot for the business school. And so, yeah, it's very thankful for you all as well, and for your time. I do want to acknowledge apologies for any gaps in communication. Any gaps in communication, any misunderstanding. As I mentioned, the transition, transitions could be kind of dicey, kind of messy sometimes. And if anything got lost in the transition, in the handoff, we really apologize. Brittany and I, we've been in data collection mode. And so we've been just really trying to collect all the puzzle pieces and everything that we can. But we do apologize for any gap in the communication. And we'll discuss more about that in a few. We'd love to leave the majority of the time to discussion, right? To be able to discuss among us. And so we just really do apologize if there has been any gaps in the communication. As we start settling into the role, we have two main priorities. I feel sometimes in several of these meetings that I've been, I feel like Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the two mandates, of low inflation and high employment, and I do have to say these are our top two priorities in the program as we move forward, and everything will revolve around these top two priorities. And the first one is the student success, making sure students are thriving, making sure students feel that they are really engaging and growing. And it was so nice to hear the students and just their joy and their gladness and their passion, just their success, their well-being, them thriving currently and in the future is our top priority, right? And we believe in holistic success, right? Not just one level of success. We want them to be successful spiritually, mentally, physically, socially, professionally. We want to make sure that they're successful in every area. And then secondly is faculty success. If our students can't be as successful if faculty isn't there to support, right? And so you are key and critical in everything that we do. And as you know, that to make sure the organization is thriving, we got to take care of our people. We got to take care of our team. And if our team is doing well, then things will eventually click. And so if you would like to know what are our top two priorities as we start dreaming and imagining the Org Psych program, these are our top two definers, And so a few trends that we're seeing in organizational psychology that probably some of you have been seeing as well, is that we're seeing that it's the #1 job in science according to US News World Report. It's the #1 job in science. We're also seeing that it has a 19% growth according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. And there's a lot of potential and growth that we're seeing. And speaking with Ludmila, there's even, I think, more potential given that we're a faith-based institution. There's even more of a green field for us there as well. And so just some interesting trends that we're seeing. Some of the core values, if you'd like to know what are our core values as we transition, number one is hospitality. We want to make sure that we make all people feel welcomed. We want to make sure that our students feel at home, our faculty feels at home. And so hospitality is going to be really, really important. Making sure there's warmth and kindness and just basic respect. Also, another key core value is rigor. We want to be scientifically rigorous. We want to be just rigorous in our research. Also, collaboration. Hence this gathering, right? We really want to make sure that we all feel part of this team. We all feel part of this community, of the Vanguard community. And also utility. We want to make sure that everything that we teach and we share, it's useful, it's practical, it has real world value. And I like something that Ben kind of put. I think one of the strongest things that Ben made sure was in the program is usefulness and utility in the program. And so if you'd like to know what are our core values moving forward, these are our core values: hospitality, rigor, collaboration, and utility. The vision, what's the vision? We really want to make sure we marry research with practice, right? We don't want to choose whether we want to be heavy on the research or just heavy on the practice. We think that it's strong. We're seeing more and more with the students. They want both. They don't want an either or. They want both. And so where we're going is that we want to be big on the research, on the research in organizations, and we also want to be big on the practice. Also, we do want to highlight and really pursue active learning, not just in the lab, which is traditionally viewed as very engaging, but we also want the lecture to be active learning. We don't want our students to be passive. We want them to be active when it comes to learning. Also, as I've spoken with some of you already, we really want to focus on mentorship. Mentorship is going to be a big part of moving forward. And I know many of you, if not all, I know that is one of your top wheelhouses is mentorship, making sure students feel connected, right? And this mentorship is many times the way students get jobs, right? And so mentorship has many, many benefits for our students. Also, we are envisioning the program being majority online with an element of in-person modality per semester. And we're seeing more and more research that hybrid learning, having some sort of both and of virtual and in-person is we're seeing that it increases productivity, it increases effectiveness. And so we are seeing this both and one of the programs that we're seeing that in Vanguard that have this really, really well and really down is the grad clinical psych program. They have a really nice recipe and formula for their program. Also, we envision designing practical and relevant coursework. That's another key part of our vision and something that we'll constantly keep an eye out for. And also, we envision a future and a program that is training various types of organizational psychologists. We see that PSYOP, Society of Industrial and Organizational Psychologists, as they start promoting their conferences and their work and their research, they talk about how org psych is useful, right? It's in so many different careers, directors, vice presidents, executives, CEOs, HR consultants, professors. And so we really want to keep in mind as we imagine the curriculum moving forward that we imagine of various types of organizational psychologists, right? As Ludmila, you said that organizations are a mess, and the thing is that there's so many different types of organizations, and so it really does take many different types of organizational psychologists. These are our learning objectives as seen on the catalog, right? We want to make sure, and as you know, that the catalog is like the Bible of the university. And so our learning objectives is we want to make sure our students will be able to show competencies in knowledge of human behavior, in data and critical thinking, in decision making, in core organizational and people operation competencies, in organizational strategy and decisions proficiency, in organizational consulting and decision proficiency as well. We also a key part of who we are and our identity is the integration of faith and learning. That we don't have to choose just faith or just learning or just faith and or science. Both could coexist, right? From the research of Francis Collins shows us that there could be a both and. Also, make sure that they show competencies in communication and also cultural competency, making sure that our students can navigate various cultures. What expectations do we have for faculty? Number one of them is to make sure that our faculty values research and practice, right? That's one of the things that we're kind of in a unique position where we're seeing in academia, right? It's almost this reimagining, and COVID has accelerated that. And we're seeing more and more that it can't just be one or the other. It can't just be research or just practice. We want to make sure that we create a team of faculty that values research and practice. Also, very important, given the heart of what we were talking about of mentorship, the heart of an educator is really, really important as well. Having a heart to make sure that students are engaging with the material and actually, right, being able to move up in Bloom's taxonomy, being able to move up in from just remembering and to be able to take them to the top of the pyramid, according to Bloom, where they can create, right? And so that's what we imagine in our faculty. Also, we know Canvas is there. And so we really are trying to see, and I put an asterisk there, because we're really trying to see if we could make sure we have a IT or Canvas Pro or a specialist to smoothen engagement with assignments. We know Canvas, it's a love-hate relationship, you know, and so we want to make sure our faculty find some workable relationship with Canvas. And so these are some expectations for our faculty. And so I'd like to kind of open it up a little bit, and I'd love to ask, currently in the program, what is working well? What are certain things that you are really enjoying a lot that you're saying, oh my gosh, it's worth, you know, contributing to this nonprofit. It's worth contributing to students. It's worth being able to teach and be faculty. And so I'd love to see if we could kind of go around, stop sharing my screen here, and we could kind of just go around the table and just see what's been working for you. What have you been engaging with the most?
I can tell you from my perspective, it's honestly the students are the primary reason for me. The level of engagement they bring. So I mentioned earlier, I taught in the undergrad program, but I also taught now in the grad program. And when I taught in the undergrad program, I was teaching the business side. So HR was a requirement. Here you have students, one, they already have a degree, so they're going for a master's degree, level degree, and they are interested in the subject. So you get a much deeper and richer discussion. Some are experienced, some are not. Some don't have any experience, but they want to learn about it. And some are working at it to some degree. Many of them are more of a coordinator, entry-level type of roles, but they certainly add value and they appreciate the discussion. So that's one thing that for me has been critical throughout this program for sure.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Yeah, the conversations are so rich, so rich. Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, anyone else? What's something that's really been working for you that you've been really just engaging with a lot, and what's energized you a lot as a faculty member?
I'll echo Jeffrey's sentiments about the students. I think their hunger, their desire, their appetite, um, they are eager to learn the material and apply it. So the conversations are really rich, and I find that to be very engaging. So the class time flies,
Mm.
right? So it's just great students.
Mm. Thank you, Chopia, for sharing.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that. I think I've shared that with you before, Renee, and it was really kind of what I spoke to when I introduced myself. I mean, the students are just being able to being honored to teach these students and have the ability to actually give back to IO or or give to the future of IO is really powerful, and I think that's what we do really well here. Um, and we're also really good at working with these students and making sure that they are kind of getting what they need. So that's what I would say. Like I said, I would echo everything everyone else has said. It's the students really.
Mm. Yeah, their hunger is inspiring. And being able to just, I would say, just nerd out with fellow organizational future nerds is just, it's so exciting. And as for us, for me, growing up in a Latino family, passion is just part of our DNA and it's in our blood. And so whenever I see students just so passionate about the research, it's incredible. It's such an incredible feeling. Yeah. I think Jennifer, you wanted to share? Sorry if I spoke.
Me or Jeffrey? Sorry.
Jennifer, no, you. Yeah. I don't know
Oh.
if you unmuted and you were going to share. Sorry.
I think when I think about the priorities of student success and faculty success, so I have 1 week left of teaching kind of this course. And one of the things that I feel like maybe I'm probably going to go into your second question,
Yeah.
but maybe in terms of student success, like what I feel like hasn't been working well has been saying like, what questions do you have about the reading and this and that? What has been working well is structuring experiences for them to engage in the content themselves, right? So I have a background in corporate learning, but I've never done academic learning. So I was like, hey, this is what I bring, and this is what they're gonna get, right? They're just gonna have to engage in the content. I know no other way. I can't just talk at people for 2 hours. So they have given feedback to me that has been very meaningful for them. Ways like assessments and little ways for them to engage a little bit deeper in some of the readings and in the class sessions to get them in small groups, to get them pairing up, to get them vulnerable with each other. And I think there's something really profound that they have as an opportunity to grow close together as a cohort. I mean, I think of my master's program. I am so tight and so close with so many of the cohort members from my master's, and that's because they created the space for that to happen. And so I've been given feedback that some of the more meaningful experiences for them have been going into those small groups and pair ups and the type of outputs that you get are a little bit different than in the corporate learning space, but they're getting more comfortable with each other, right? I think I'm one of the first 2 classes. So they're kind of getting their feet wet with each other. So hopefully by the time they get later on, they've developed more relationships and they have more opportunities to do that with each other. So, I mean, certainly I'll be curious how the feedback comes from this class, but that's what they've at least told me has been more meaningful for them.
No, thank you, Jennifer. Yeah. What talking with students in the program, I do got to just say they're so hungry. They are so hungry. And what we've been, at least what I've been noticing, uh, Brittany, feel free to chime in if you'd like. Something that I've noticed is that they're sprinters. They want the info, they want the knowledge, they want the education, just that we got to make sure that it's in the right time frame, right packaging, right? And so that's that middle ground that I think that we could definitely continue refining. And it just I was really impressed by their hunger, that they want more. And so it was really amazing to see the students. And I'm kind of reading a theme that what's working a lot is the students. The students are amazing. Any other addition to what is working? Because I know you guys know what's the next question. Uh, but just what is working? Yeah, Ludmila.
Oh, well, just kind of on the same vein, but really students, when they become alums, it's really fun to watch that they still um, stay in touch and they support each other and they communicate. And that's really super amazing to see.
Yeah.
Sometimes because I'm at the tail end of the course, I have a chance to talk to students and get some feedback about what worked, what doesn't work. The feedback I got is basically they do like working with each other. I think the cohort is important. They do like to pair up. Any breakout sessions they always appreciate because it gives them to introduce them to different thinking. While they appreciate the academics around research, they really want to know what works, what does not work in real life. So the fact that I've been in HR for 30 years, responsible for HR operations globally, I give them basically realities of here's what it means, right? Because I can tell you, and I'm going to tell you all of this because I know your backgrounds, and maybe you know this. As heads of HRs, in my experience, I work with a lot of IO psychologists, and they come in and sometimes they fail because they're not able to relate to the business. And that's one thing that I really press up on them to make sure they keep that in mind as they engage with business leaders, because some business leaders don't care. They just want you to solve the problem. So that's kind of how I approach it, to really try to make it real for them so that they can apply it.
Yeah.
And they tell me that's what they appreciate, at least. They could be lying, but that's what they tell me.
We have met with students,
Yeah,
Jeffrey,
I just
and
want to confirm that
go
is
ahead, Brittany, you go
I
ahead.
just want to confirm that's 100% accurate, Jeffrey. Yes, that is exactly what they value. So yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we're seeing that, right, in academic organizations where it's this both and that, yeah, they want theory, they want research, but does it make sense in the real world? Is it useful? Is it, when the rubber meets the road, like, is it really going to work? And so I definitely think that's what we're seeing around the country, around the world. Academic institutions, if they're not useful, students are going to vote with their feet and with their finances, right? And so we want to make sure that it's, again, rigorous and also useful and practical in the real world. Definitely. All right. Yeah, let's jump into the second one. We want your feedback. So like Brittany says, we want to open Pandora's box. But we would love to just see what's not been working. What's been very challenging for you? Any systematic or major issues that you're noticing that just hasn't worked? And Brittany and I were taking notes. But we'd love to hear from you what has not been working.
I have something to share, but I don't think it's anything systemic or anything like that. I think this is commonly occurs in grad programs, but students who are not comfortable thinking outside of the box. So as Jeffrey was just sharing, you work in organizations and you need to be malleable to learn the organization and figure out what works for them. I've noticed students struggle with wanting the exact answer rather than following the exploratory path to land at the correct answer or solution given a situation. They want to know, no, tell me exactly what to do. Tell me exactly if this is right. And I've shared with my students a couple of times, like, no, we'll equip you with the resources, the frameworks, the knowledge to figure it out, and the case studies to support figuring it out. But there is, at this point, there won't be any one right way. It's about leaning into your confidence and competence in determining what makes sense for the organization and how to best deliver that.
Thank you, Chopia. Yeah, it's helping students understand that it's gray, right? Most things are gray. Our favorite phrase, right? It depends. Um, and so definitely, thank you, Chopia.
Something I think would be ideal as a leadership, as just leaders or faculty coaching these students would be a little bit more of these type meetings, communicating with each other, hearing from each other, learning from each other, understanding what came out of the last course. How are we going to prepare them for the next course? What should we leverage that they've already learned in the new course? For me, I felt that we were very disconnected and I had no idea what they were coming from and what they were going into. And that's not to say that I didn't know what the course lineup was. I did. I just wasn't aware of what happened from class to class. And I think it would behoove us to ask our students to leverage what they just learned in their upcoming class.
Hmm. That's good, Christine. It almost sounds like that's two in one. That kind of some more cohesion amongst the faculty, and also at the same time making sure that we know what's coming up next, so that way we set up our students to continue kind of that momentum and that build.
I think
It'd be
Exactly.
absolutely helpful to know more about the key points that associated with each class.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great call out. I think because when I have the ability to flex, so I will talk about certain topics. I said, have you been introduced to this? Yes, no. How much in depth? Yes, no. And then I can decide on the spot, do I want to go into it or not? But if you haven't advanced, it certainly makes the life easier. So I think that's a good call out.
Yeah, almost like as faculty, as a faculty team collective, we could anticipate kind of who's coming in and who's on their way out. Yeah, it's good.
I really like this. It's like a baton transition or handoff because there's even a couple classes happening at the same time. So if there's even greater collaboration between, what's being taught and like, for example, they're supposed to do a client consultant meeting with me, but I asked them, hey, present stuff that you're learning in Professor Wood's class too, right? Like this is your opportunity to merge stuff together. I think there's a lot of opportunity for that. And I think one place where I sort of felt a little bit of tension is like if I'm the first class, have they even had time to get to know each other? And I felt a little bit of tension because I'm like, I only have 2 hours with them. And listen, this topic is meaty and it's big, and trying to condense it down already is really difficult. And so I'm like, I felt this tension of like, I need to build community. I want them to have that. But you know what I mean? Like, is there something that happens before all of it starts too? Like, I don't know. So I don't know if there's even space or time for that, but
No, yeah, that's something that we're kind of, as you saw, we're kind of where we would like to go is we understand that a lot of grad students are extremely busy, and so we're trying to figure out a way that online is the majority of the modality. But how can we still sprinkle in human to human connection? And so we're really looking at the model of the grad clinical psych program, that they sprinkle in human to human, face to face interaction. And so again, this is more down the road, but we're even possibly thinking, is there any way we could let our new students know that that's something that they do in the grad clinical psych, is that they let their new students know that there will be 2 times or 3 times a semester where they will be in person on campus, right? And they get to feel the campus, see the campus. It's not the majority of their time, but that connection, like you said, Jennifer, is so, so important. So we are starting to brainstorm and try to see how we bake that in more downstream.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm curious, in terms of what's working well versus not working well. One thing I'm really curious about is how is that 2 hour segment of class time? How are y'all making that as effective as possible? One of my concerns is that when I've taught workshops, or instructed in the past, 2 hours, I start to lose focus around hour 1 and 10 minutes. So I'm super curious as to like what you have all done to ensure that everybody can stay focused and engaged for those 2 hours.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. Breaks, group assignments. Nothing says you can't. Nothing says you have to do it for 2 hours straight. If you feel like a break is needed, and breakout session. And again, it's a little bit. We used to have 4 hour in-person classes, so then we translated it into Zoom, which obviously is a lot harder. But there are now all kinds of different things you can do virtually, whether it's, the cascading questions, or getting them to lead for a couple of minutes, or having them to do case studies. So variety definitely does help, but don't feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do it for 2 hours. If their eyes are getting, not unfocused, give them a break. There's like nothing wrong with it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Ludmila, that's great. Yeah, I would even add to variety, dynamism, maybe having a segment of lecture, just traditional PowerPoint for a few, and then switching it off to, writing themselves, or then small groups, or then a case study, and so I definitely am seeing more and more that students are asking and engaging a lot with almost sort of quasi unpredictable dynamics in throughout those 2 hours, and a little bit of everything. And I think what we're seeing a lot in new students is they really embrace the complexity when it comes to a variety, right? Attention spans are shorter. We're seeing movies, the scenes are even shorter and shorter. And so I definitely think rapid fire of a kaleidoscope of activities and dynamics that are very rich. We're seeing that they're engaging a lot with that.
Yeah.
That's a great question, Ellie.
Yeah,
So
and I've done so much research on making for effective meetings, and I'm finding these same things. So it's great to see that it's translating over to the academic experience as well.
Yeah, it
Jeffrey,
is.
can you share a little bit about what's worked for you in your classes? Because overwhelmingly students speak incredibly highly of the structure of your classes. So I know it's working. Can you speak into this a little?
Yeah, a couple things. One is, so this most recent course has been I was responsible for the intensive course, so that's obviously much different because that's in person, 2 days, full days, which was really long, but in person. But when I have taught online, the way I've done it really is any lecture is boring. I mean, just think about yourself. We're in these meetings virtually. It's hard. You have so many screens. Well, I have many screens, and I can look all over the place. And so how do you keep people engaged? So what I do is I've done videos, short videos on lectures on the various topics. And then when I'm together, it's all exercise discussions. So I do a lot of breakout rooms. I break them out. I say, I'm going to just randomly break out in Zoom, which you can easily do. You have 15 minutes to come back with a recommendation. Then we talk about it. So it's really just a dialogue. And case study dialogues, assessments, all of that, because otherwise I'm going to fall asleep. And if I fall asleep, they're going to fall asleep. So that's kind of the approach I take when I teach, and I try to have fun. And if I think I have fun, they have fun. Britt knows sometimes I yell at students, not in a mean way, but just in a way to keep them engaged. So that's kind
Great.
of what I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. Thank you so much. Great to hear from the expert in engagement here. Then that's what I've been trying to do with my course shells. I've been trying to put that content in first so they can go and absorb the content at the pace that they need to, take the notes that they need to, and then our class time is really for engagement and exercise. So
Perfect.
awesome to hear that I'm doing well. Sorry, my cat just knocked over my water.
No worries.
It's got a cap though. We're okay.
Yeah, it's really keeping them on their toes is really a good rule of thumb. Jennifer,
Well, then I'll have my cat come and knock over my water every day.
Yeah, there we go.
Actually, animals showing up is very enlivening for sessions.
I have no concerns about that. She will come across my desk every about 45 minutes.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Sure. I put it in chat. I think for this first course, I kind of had a deadline that I was running up against, and I was like, okay, like I need to just get the framework built out. So now I'm excited to kind of go back and optimize it. So I think leveraging annotate polls and things like that. There's so much opportunity within Zoom. Thank goodness it's Zoom that we're using. To really engage the entire class in a safe way that then can promote richer dialogue. I feel like that's where there needs to be some kind of an on-ramp for the students at this level. And I feel like the annotate feature, I think I'm excited to experiment with that because I think that's a prime feature to kind of on-ramp them and then get them into the deep end a little bit quicker on some things. So yeah, there's opportunity there too.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your input here.
It's fantastic. I'm just mindful of time. I know that we have a few more slides to do, so
Yeah,
I don't
we
want to
just got
cut
one more.
short the feedback section,
That's
but
good.
I just wanted to call that out.
Yeah, no, we just got one more thing to just share with you. Thank you, Brittany. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And so something very important, right, is compensation is very, very important. And so one thing that we really want to just be able to just be transparent and just being honest with you when it comes to, we know many of you, this is, you know, a side hustle. We know that you do this for passion. And so we would like to share with you, we know that previously the compensation was maybe a little bit above the average in Vanguard. And so what we will be moving forward is more of a Vanguard average. And so in the business school, we'll be following the averages of other schools at Vanguard. And we are aware that previously for adjunct professors, something was agreed on, and we want to make sure that what that was agreed on, we want to make sure that we deliver with what was previously agreed on. And so I have a meeting tomorrow with the dean concerning that element. And so definitely we will I will be getting you an answer, or Brittany will be getting an answer, but most likely it'll be from me, and just kind of clarifying. And again, in the transition between what was agreed on and then not being there anymore as a director, and now a new director coming in with new kind of expectations. And so I would like to share with you the average Vanguard University's average for adjunct professors. And so what you see here is bottom left is the doctorate is 25 an hour, and it'll be mainly this column right here, 8 weeks, 3 units, about 14 and a half hours. And for those that know and worked at a nonprofit or contribute to a nonprofit, you kind of know that that's not that much, and we are aware of that. For masters, it'll be 23 an hour, and it'll be around, again, the same column, about 8 weeks, 3 units, the course, and bachelor's 21 an hour. And so we do want to set the tone of honesty and transparency, and we really want to just be really, really honest with you all. And again, we are aware, and the dean reminds me all the time, is we can't compete, you know, with with many top companies. And so we know that a lot of this is intrinsic motivation. A lot of this is mission driven to serve students. And so I would like to just, this was the last slide that we wanted to share with you all. And so I'd love for, if there's any questions, or if you'd like to email me privately, I would love to just any feedback, any questions, any comments you might have. Definitely want to make sure that you are heard and you are listened to. And so I know compensation, I know money isn't everything, but it is a foundational part of who we are. And so please.
I can tell you that for me, it's not the money. And I've seen the money go up and down since I've been here forever. It's academia. It's not just Vanguard. It's academia does not pay really well compared to businesses. But that's not what I teach. So you're right about I teach because I want to engage with students. I want to learn from the students, right? I want to give back. And that's what's important to me. The only thing I want to share with those of you who have never taught, this is the pain point. I'm going to tell you the pain point right now. And it's not Vanguard's fault. So California passed a new law several years ago that requires adjunct faculty to punch in and punch out their time. You have to fill out the timesheet. It's awesome. Now, it's online, so it's easy, but you have to track your hours, and that's how you get paid. And so I think the math adds up to $20 an hour, which doesn't make you feel really good when you think in those terms. But don't think in those terms. Just think about it's a process. It's a part of what you need to do. And Renee, I really appreciate you sharing this because it's important to be transparent about this with everybody else. As I said, I've been around. It's fine for me. But I just want to give everybody else a heads up on the process, how it works.
Thank you, Jeffrey, for calling that out. And just so you all know, part of my role is to help bridge any gap in information or knowledge for that process. Or if you run into any challenges with like, I thought I submitted my hours, but I didn't get a paycheck. Like, what is happening? Please, please, please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for, is to help support on that end. So if you do have any questions about that, as that, as you move forward in that process, or if there are any hiccups in the journey, please let me know.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Brittany. Yeah, go ahead, Christine.
So just really quick, so does that mean we now submit timesheets before? Because I don't know if I did that before, and I realized that probably was, I'm sorry if I did that incorrectly. I just want to make sure that that's what's being asked of faculty now.
Yes, we will. I would say, Brittany, you could fact check me on this, but it is a most likely a yes. But again, tomorrow I could get you 100%.
Yeah, I can jump in on that. So essentially, yes. And I just saw your comment, Jennifer. You're not alone. So, prior to this shift, the expectation was that you wouldn't enter in your own hours and that would be done on your behalf from the back end. But we're trying to align with the expectations of faculty across the university. And for the last couple of months or more, we have been functioning differently than other schools within the university. And so there's this call to being aligned. And so part of that process is making sure that all of our faculty are kind of being held to the same requirements and standards. And so one of those things is entering your own hours. So don't worry, we will make sure that you get information on how to do that when the time comes. You'll be given all of the information. And again, if you have any challenges with that, please let me know. And as Jeffrey said, it is an unfortunate, tedious element of the process, but you do have help and support in that. And there are resources that make it easier. Like there's an app that you can put on your phone and it makes it a little easier, or, you can do it on the computer and just bookmark the link. So there are some ways that we can make it a little easier. But yes, that is a transition that will be happening. As of the first half of this fall semester, I believe that has been done on your behalf. But as we move forward into the second half of the fall, so Ellie, this will directly affect you. That will be shifting. So I'll be working with you, Ellie, to make sure that you know the correct processes to enter your hours.
Yeah. Just Jeffrey just dropped some gold in the chat. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. As a Vanguard employee, which you are all now, you will be able to become a member of school's first federal credit union, and they offer special summer savers program. I have one account that gives me 6.5% interest, but I'm sure it is lower now. Thank you so much.
It's been, the last I checked, I think that was still pretty good. It was like last week, maybe.
Yeah, it's still it's a nice deal. I mean,
That's nice.
Benefit to have.
Yeah. And yeah, just again, Brittany and I, we just want to really set the tone on just the transparency and honesty. And so there was one more thing. Is there any other question or comment? Just when it comes to the time card, it is PayFlex, in case you want to see tutorials on it, PayFlex. And in the beginning, like many, like a Starbucks app, it is tedious, but then you kind of find your own rhythm and you find your own, it gets easier and easier. And so, yeah, any other last comments, questions as we wrap it up? Ludmila, yes, please.
It's not a comment or question, but it is on the track of research and practice. And I know Jeffrey knows and Britt knows, and you know that we've been doing creating health organization conferences for quite a while. I think that will be 7th time. It's like mind-boggling. Wow. We had a bit of a break, but we're finally doing it again. So it's December 7th, and which is Saturday, and then we're also doing the afternoon of previous Friday, December 6th. And so it's virtual. And the topic is win-win organizations. So organizations that are successful and taking care of employees. And it doesn't have to be one or the other. So if anyone would like to present, just hit me up and let me know, and we'll figure out how to align your interests.
Yes, it is our signature event, right? That has been led by Ludmila and Brittany. And so really excited to make sure that it's championed and celebrated, definitely. And yes, we are looking to, we will send out another email. We are trying to see if we could get together maybe twice a semester just to keep some sort of communication going. So you'll get a notification from us soon. Okay. Brittany, anything that we're missing to close?
I don't believe so. I think the only additional thing that I would add is if you do have any additional feedback, either from like a front facing, as far as engaging with students and within class, or from an organizational standpoint or structural standpoint, or the back end, even like working within Canvas, any challenges you may have with that, please let us know. We can't help meet you where you are if we don't know where there are challenges. So if you do have any additional feedback, please let us know. Also, any additional questions you may have that you didn't get a chance to ask here, please reach out to Renee and I, and we'll make sure to get back to you. But we really want to prioritize open communication and making sure that you as faculty feel fully supported to do your best work. So just know that we are here to support that, and would love for you to reach out. So that's all.
Yes. No, thank you. Thank you, Brittany. We just a Canvas note. So we have our Canvas specialist that's been working with you, Alex. So he has been contracted until the spring of next year, the first half of spring of next year. And so moving further than that, after that, we'll definitely talk about how we'll make sure the Canvas site is ready and locked and loaded for how we're going to move forward after that. Okay. But y'all, thank you so much for this time. Really, thank you. We appreciate it, and we will be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Have a
Great
good
to
night.
meet everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that worked great. Good
Hey,
job.